Welcome to Sports Talk, the home of the new achievements. Over 1,000 views and over 200 views live. This is now Sports Talk. And now here's your host or hostess, Ed and Jesus. A momentous day here on Sports Talk, Achievement Wednesday. We want to welcome everybody on this Wednesday night, this cold, freezing Wednesday night in California. This is Sports Talk. I am, of course, my name is Ed, and I got my partner Jesus on the line here, streaming. Partner, welcome to Achievement Wednesday, a big day for this show.
Yeah, partner, big day, lots of news, another great episode. Let's get it.
We personally want to thank everyone that's tuned in over the past 4 years of this programming. We want to thank everyone, especially here on the show, that's been committed to making this show a success. And we want to thank everyone, viewers, family, friends, for supporting us, for helping us put the show out there. This is a great day. We also hit 200 views live as another achievement here on Podbean. So again, thank you. And we got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and talk about one of the breaking stories, and it's coming out of the Los Angeles Rams. The end of the Cooper Kupp era is over in LA. Today, the Rams have officially released wide receiver Cooper Kupp. After 2 months of negotiating, looking to make a trade, the Rams have decided to release their former Pro Bowler, Super Bowl MVP of a couple years ago. And partner, not surprisingly that this was going to happen, but how soon could the Rams have waited to try at least work something out?
Yeah, so it was pending 48 hours. If no trade was going to happen, the best choice was to release him. And that's what happened today, which saves us a couple $1 million, and creating $15 million in cap space. But it sucks to just release Cooper Kupp after having a great season with the Los Angeles Rams and drafted by the LA Rams.
Drafted in 2018, Cooper Kupp rose to stardom. 2018 was his rookie season. He was injured. He missed the first Super Bowl run, but stayed consistent, came back in 2021, led the Rams in receiving, also caught the winning touchdown pass in Super Bowl 56 to capture the team's first Super Bowl. And now, 5 years later, he's been released. Almost 8 years later, he's been released, and we have now a full house. We got our boy Sean, who's actually joining us on this special night. Sean, I know it's been a while we talked to you, but I want to ask you, what was your response to this news about Cooper Kupp being released?
Well, man, it's as a longtime Rams fan, we all three of us in here know, it's hard because we've had this guy since the team came back to LA, and he did so much for this team, from being a rookie to Super Bowl champion and teaching these up-and-coming stars like Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua, giving his advice to these guys, and now the Rams are moving on from him. Why they decided to even make that decision after the end of this at the end of this past season, I don't know. What made the Rams choose to release him or find a trade deal for him? What constituted that? That's the big question.
Well, here's the thing. As Jesus mentioned before, he handed this flashcard to me. This is pretty much designating a June 1st cut, keeping the $29.78 million cap hit. And at this point, they will take a dead cap hit on that $14.78 million this season, with an additional $74.8 million in 2026. So it's going to create about $15 million in cap space. But you look at the success he's had here, drafted in 2018. The career he's had. We look at his receptions, 634 receptions, almost 8,000 yards, 7,776, 57 touchdowns, Super Bowl 56 MVP, caught the winning touchdown that we mentioned before. He was the Offensive Player of the Year that season of 2021. He's had the most yardage by any player in the season at 1,965. He's had the most catches by a receiver in a single postseason, which is 33. Of course, all of this is part of that Super Bowl season. But in recent events, in recent years, he's been hurt. He missed 11 games in 2022. He missed some games in 2023. He missed about 9 games last year. It just got to the point now where you had to, as much as it sucks, this is a business point, and you gotta look at his age at 32 years old. I still think he's in his prime, but in this business, when you start getting hurt a lot, that's when your career starts winding down, gentlemen.
Yeah, that does make sense. We have seen it in the past, pretty much since the COVID season. Cooper Kupp has had a couple of injury-plagued seasons where he's been out for extended periods of time and hasn't been able to contribute to the team. So, yeah, does age play a factor? Sure, it could. But in the long run, yeah, he gave us 7 good years and paved the way for the newly reformed Los Angeles Rams ever since they came back to LA. And now we have a new, if not slightly better receiving core with the Rams adding Davante Adams. The free agency market is still young. There's still plenty of time left for the Rams to pick up someone else and try and build an even stronger receiving core that could definitely help the team in the 2025 season.
Jesus, what's your take on this situation?
Oh yeah, like I said before, Sean came in here. Tough break, especially after all he has done since joining the Rams. It sucks to just release him. I was hoping for a trade. We could have got a couple good draft picks with that, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But I love the Davante Adams move. Puka and Davante Adams are going to be a special weapon this year and for the next 2 years for the Rams.
But gentlemen, aren't you both shocked that nobody stepped up to say, hey, we want this guy, we'll give you this? You look at his numbers, man, these are like Hall of Fame numbers. Matthew Stafford has worked well with wide receivers. We look at Calvin Johnson. You look at receivers like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and then now Puka Nacua, and Tutu Atwell, who actually disappeared last season. Didn't see much of him. But isn't it shocking though that one of the greatest receivers in this game wasn't even worth trading? The only team that was in a hunt, was Jacksonville, but they never made their move. So how shocking is it that this wasn't able to be resolved for a trade? They had to just pretty much cut him.
I'm kind of in that same boat where in 7 years with the Rams, 634 catches, almost 8,000 yards, almost 60 touchdowns, Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, most yards in a single season, most catches in a single postseason. This man has everything that is needed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And yet no other team that was shopping their receiving core, no other team wanted to come to LA and say, hey, how about you give us Cooper Kupp and we'll give you, let's do San Francisco, for example. We'll take Cooper Kupp and we'll give you Deebo Samuel, or who else? Who were some other trade block receivers that were out there so far this year? I don't even know. The only one I could think of is Deebo Samuel, and then of course there was Davante Adams, but he was already a free agent, so there was no trade to be involved there. So, because as a free agent, you're not really being traded. You're just signing with a new team.
Jesus, I believe you had answered this earlier, but what was your, how shocked are you that this wasn't able to be resolved in a trade?
Yeah, I was shocked. Like I mentioned, I was hoping for a couple draft picks in return for like a trade cost with the Cooper Cup, but it didn't happen. So we're just gonna save those 15 million in space. But tough one to let go. He's gonna have a great, keep having a great career with the new team he joins.
Well, I do got one more question for you guys. We're gonna go back a bit. We're gonna go back to October where the rumors of a trade that was happening. That was when the Rams were at their, I believe their 3-5 record or 2-5 record, and this is where trade rumors started popping up on the Rams. So here's Sean McVay on what he had to say about the rumors that was going on at the time.
Here's what I'll tell you. Teams reached out. Some of the things that I've seen out there, they're just not true. We've addressed that with those individuals. Teams have called about him, and really we let him know what the dialogue was there. And then there's a lot of stuff out there where there's not a lot of accountability to the reports, and that's unfortunate. I'm really glad.
Well, Sean McVay pretty much shut it down in October, and then Cooper Kupp was asked about this as well. So let's see what he had to say about it.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of it, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a beaver on my feet off. That's all I know. I have a job to do here, and I take pride in doing everything I can for the guys in this building, and being able to step on the field, knowing that I prepare the best I can. And for 7.5 years, I've been an LA Ram, and I've taken that approach every single day. And whatever happens outside of that, I got control. I can control it. Right now, that means being the best LA Ram that I can be, and I'm going to do that.
That was back in October, gentlemen. Let me start with you, Sean. Do you think that this type of action really much killed his chances at a trade? Maybe after the trade deadline.
Well,
it's hard to discuss that, huh?
It really is. It's like, yeah, there were the rumors that were floating around, and there were teams that were genuinely interested in wanting to make that trade for Cooper Kupp prior to this past year's trade deadline. But could it be, and it really is, it is a tough topic there, because Cooper Kupp he's a diehard Ram at heart. He wanted to, even though he was injured at the time, he wanted to stay with the Rams for the whole season. He didn't want to be shopped around mid-season when he knew that he could come back strong and make this inevitable playoff push that the Rams did make in the second half of the season after their bye week, where they won 8 of their last 9 games or 9 of their last 10 games, whatever it was, and made it up to the conference championship game or the divisional championship game against Philadelphia.
Jesus, what's your take on the rumors back then? We're like 5-6 months, 5 months after that. What's your take? Do you think that really hurt his chances after that?
Yeah, I remember talking about that midway season in one of our episodes, but from what I remember, I think it did affect it was a little brewing behind the scenes of what happened, and I'm not sure what occurred or not, but yeah, I think it moved on to now, but it's just still shocking, sad to say as a Rams fan myself and you guys.
But we still have some more Rams news, so we're gonna go to another story that broke out yesterday, this past week. So the Rams re-signed Tutu Atwell to an extension. Tutu Atwell had a great year in 2023, but was pretty much silent most of this past season. Many wonder that he should have left instead of Cooper Kupp. Gentlemen, what's your take on the signing of Tutu Atwell? Can he fit in this new offense?
I like Tutu Atwell. I believe his speed is, and we could use him as a threat. I know we didn't use him much last year, but I believe in that the year before that we used him a lot with the slant, especially when we had Cup. And there's going to be a lot of eyes on Davante Adams and Puka. So if they double team or another, there's going to be at least one guy open at 2-2 speed with Stafford's connection. I like it.
Hey, Sean, what's your take?
I have to agree there. I think bringing back Tutu Atwell, yes, we didn't see that much of him last year, but in years past with Tutu, there has been that connection that can be made between Matthew Stafford and Tutu Atwell. Will he fit in with this sort of reforming offensive line where you're going to go on without Cooper Kupp, but you have Davante Adams as that sort of veteran player that can sort of take Cooper Kupp's spot and be listed as the veteran wide receiver? Can it fit? I think it will. I think the Rams receiving core is looking pretty good. There's still time for more, but right now you've got Tutu Atwell, you have Davante Adams, you have Puka Nacua. Those three right there, they're doing so good. They were doing good. You know, we saw the spark kind of reignite with Davante after he reunited with Aaron Rodgers in New York. Yes, we are losing Demarcus Robinson. He signed with the 49ers. Nothing we can do about that. So far, we've lost 2 good guys and we've gained 2 good guys. So right now, it's kind of even. And like I said, there's still time to make it work even better and find another decent receiver that's out there. Or maybe not even a receiver. Maybe our receiving core is good where it's at with those 3. Maybe another running back would be good. We saw a little bit of Ronnie Rivers and Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams has his spot on this team. Ronnie Rivers, could he improve a little bit? Sure. Could there be a spot open to add another running back? Yeah, I think so. So it'll be the rest of this offseason leading up into the August, September timeframe where things start to pick up and you have training camp and everything else. With what I've seen the Rams do so far, I'm expecting more. I don't think they're done. The Rams have more to prove and more to show.
Yeah, that's very correct, Sean. And we do have a listing, as this was handed to us by our staff. The latest editions of the Rams signing. So we're going to take a look at that right now. We're going to start off with the most recent one, which is Tutu Atwell. He signed a 1-year, $10 million contract. The Rams also re-signed backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo to a 1-year, $4.5 million with $9 million incentives. You also look at another signing by the Rams, Alaric Jackson. He signed a 3-year deal, and of course we know about Davante Adams. He signed the 2 years, $46 million, 26 guarantee. Poona Ford signed a 3-year, $29.96 million contract. And then we have Coleman Shelton, 2 years. But so far the money amount has not been determined. And then Dylan McMahon, he's been signed as a tender. So, so far, what would you grade the Rams free agency signings, gentlemen, as of right now?
I'll grade it a big B plus, and I feel like we could add another 1 or 2 signings. We could make it great. Can't forget that draft class coming up, draft day.
Before I get to Sean, I do want to go off on what Sean said about Williams. Williams is a great running back, gentlemen, but if he can just hold on to that football, he could be one of the best running backs the Rams have had since Todd Gurley. You look at his stats, not bad stats, but okay stats, pretty good stats if you put it that way. with the yards he rushes per game. One thing that I've noticed about the Rams this season, they do start with the running game. Sometimes they'll start with a running game. Sometimes they'll go with a pass game. The problem is when the run game works, they kind of stop and then they go with the passing game. I think if they go back to that fundamental football of running the ball of ground and pound, as Rex Ryan used to say, because that made Sean McVay very successful in his first 2 years with the Rams. Develop the run game. He did this to develop Jared Goff, which really worked. Unfortunately, Jared Goff wasn't unable to pretty much develop after that. But in those 2 years, the running game set up the pass play, kind of like back when the Rams were in St. Louis. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk. We saw a little bit of that there with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. We saw a lot of Kurt Warner and Matthew Stafford, but as far as the running game, I think that's the one thing they can do, gentlemen, and you guys can agree with me on this or not, but if they can develop this running game more, focus more on the run the ball on first and second down, try to get that short gain or that 5-6 yards to set up a quick slant pass, a screen, and then set up play action, because that's what's been missing with this team. This is not the same team that won the Super Bowl. If you can add more credit to the linemen, develop this running game, I'll tell you right now, this team will be the same as when they won a Super Bowl. I mean, you guys can agree with me on that, but that's how I see what was wrong, and this is what they need to work on this offseason.
Yeah, that's I think you got it there. I kind of touched a little bit on it on the last topic, but I think so far with what the Rams have done, everything that has transpired, they bring back Alaric Jackson, they signed Davante Adams, they re-signed Tutu Atwell, we signed Poona Ford from the Chargers, we re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo, which the Jimmy Garoppolo deal I can get down with because it was already known that even as the backup, even though he didn't start until week 18 in that last game, it's still it'll work even if it's only 1 year. Re-signing him and keeping him for one more year, that just allows him to get more acclimated with the team in the event that they want to sign him long-term for 2026, should Matthew Stafford choose to hang up the cleats after this year. And it serves a purpose that having Jimmy Garoppolo come back and not let him go elsewhere, it's decent. And then Coleman Shelton, bringing him back to the Rams. He hasn't been a member of the Rams since they were in St. Louis. He's played his last 14 years, has been with Chicago. And now, after 14 seasons with the Bears, he's coming back to LA for 2 years. Could it possibly be the end of his career after these 2 years in LA? I don't know. We'll find out. I think bringing in that experienced center in Coleman Shelton that's a good move because we were seeing a lot of mistakes by our rookie Bo Limmer. He was making a few mistakes that turned out to be costly at crucial points of the game. As Jesus just put out, I guess this is breaking. Rams are losing another lineman. Christian Roseboom is now going to the Panthers on a 1-year deal. 135 tackles last year in 11 games as the starter. So that's another lineman that the Rams probably couldn't have afforded to lose, but it's still early and moves can be made where that spot can be filled.
Indeed, correct, Sean, and that's very great. Pretty much analysis you gave there. That's pretty good. Thank you for that. But I do want to kind of move a little bit further ahead here on the show. There is a listing I do want to go over with you guys here, and that involves the quarterback situation. A lot of quarterbacks have signed deals in the past 24 to 48 hours, and a lot of these guys were starters. We're going to start off with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was the ex-Viking. He's now a Seahawk. He signed a 3-year deal, $100.5 million deal. In New York, The Jets find a new quarterback. Justin Fields signs a 2-year, $40 million contract deal with the NYJ, hoping to move on from the dismal experience of Aaron Rodgers. Former Giants Daniel Jones agrees to a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Colts. Mentioned about Jimmy Garoppolo, he signed his contract with the Rams. Zach Wilson, who was the backup to Aaron Rodgers in New York, signed a 1-year, $6 million contract with the Miami Dolphins. And Josh Dobbs signs a 2-year, $8 million agreement with the New England Patriots. Meanwhile, in the AFC West, in Denver, Jarrett Stidham has signed a 2-year deal worth $12 million. And in the AFC South, Nick Mullins has agreed to a 2-year, $6.5 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, breaking tonight, free agent quarterback Mac Jones has agreed to terms with the San Francisco 49ers on a 2-year deal for $7 million with $5 million guaranteed. Mac Jones wanted to come to San Francisco because he wanted to work with quarterback or head coach Kyle Shanahan. Also breaking today, quarterback Russell Wilson, the free agent, is scheduled to fly out, who is in Cleveland, who went to Cleveland tonight to visit with the Browns before flying out tomorrow to the New York Giants on Thursday and visit with them on Friday. Also, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback that was cut by the Jets, has announced that he wants to play for 2 teams, either of them, the Pittsburgh Steelers or stay in New York and play with the rival Giants. Gentlemen, you see that listing quarterbacks there. Who do you think won it so far for their team?
I want to start first with the Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he's going to land with the Steelers. But at the same time, he's already in New York. Why not just join the Giants and not move? But from all those quarterbacks that you mentioned, the best one, in my opinion, that will help the team, and it's a tough one. But I believe in Justin Fields.
And Sean, what's your take? Who do you think won the free agency battle so far with this quarterback signing?
Looking at it all, when it comes to numbers, 3 years, 100.5 for Sam Darnold, moving from Minnesota to Seattle, because Seattle shipped Geno Smith to Vegas, so the Raiders now have their quarterback. And, of course, Geno Smith is going to reunite with Pete Carroll in Vegas. So for the Seahawks to find that sort of experienced quarterback to take Geno's position as the most likely Week 1 starter, I think Seattle makes a push. But even without Pete Carroll and with Geno Smith, they still prove to be a dominant factor in the NFC West. However, if we talk about the Rams, they've kind of been known to beat up on Sam Darnold a little bit. So, but that was with Minnesota. Minnesota towards the end of the year, Minnesota's offensive line sort of dwindled, and there were a lot of guys that were injured, so they were relying a lot on their second and third string linemen. So that would kind of explain why Sam Darnold was getting attacked a lot by the Rams. But now that he's with Seattle, you never know. Anything can and will happen. But outside of that, tagging on with Jesus, if Aaron Rodgers says he either wants to stay in New York and stay in the Meadowlands and go play for the rival Giants, or will he land in Pittsburgh? I think, along with Jesus, I see Aaron Rodgers, the experienced quarterback, going to Pittsburgh, because right now Pittsburgh needs that experience. They had Ben Roethlisberger. He retired. They bring in, I think it was Kenny Pickett right after Big Ben retired. Then he went to Philadelphia. And then they bring in Russell Wilson, and he plays 1 year. Now he wants to go off to a different team. So the Steelers are kind of in that quarterback drop zone. So if they can give Aaron Rodgers what he wants, hopefully maybe he can find another career resurgence towards the end of his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And Jesus, you just mentioned, and just Sean said it right now. You said Aaron Rodgers to DK to DK. What do you say? Pittsburgh's his right choice?
I like to see that. That's a nice little combo. Because if he goes to the Giants, his only weapon will be Neighbors, and he still is going to be his second year.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting see what Mr. Rogers will do. I mean, he still has a job at Jeopardy. I mean, they can take the other guy out, put him in. So, I mean, we'll see if that happens. But we'll stay on taps with that. But let's move on to another position that we've seen so far, and that is the running back position. Check out these signings, gentlemen. Najee Harris with the LA Chargers. Aaron Jones signs with the Vikings. Javonte Williams with the Dallas Cowboys. Rico Dowdle with the Carolina Panthers. A.J. Dillon with the world champion Eagles. Kenneth Gainwell signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Elijah Mitchell joins Kansas City. Samaje Perine is now a Cincinnati Bengal. Khalil Herbert is in the Indianapolis Colts. Ty Johnson signs with the Bills. And Jeremy Nichols signs with the Washington Commanders. And those are the latest signings in the free agency for running backs. And it's been an interesting first few days, but is it safe to say that this is the craziest free agency that we've seen in recent times in the NFL?
These first 2 or 3 days of free agency, I keep seeing the Adam Schefter updates come on ESPN like every 5 minutes, it seems like, where you have signing after signing after signing or trade. It's like, good Lord, the NFL, man, these guys are going crazy right now. And we're only 3 days in. We still have 4 months until teams start prepping for next season.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree with you on that. Couple days in, and so many trades happening, so many moves, and what's left, it's insane. And so many players tuning out emojis about certain players, bringing them into their team. Yeah, there's still much left.
Yeah, and we're also seeing like old players reuniting with old coaches. But speaking of that, who do you think will be on the hot seat this season for their team to succeed? Because you also talk about pressure. I see maybe the one coach that will be on pressure this year will be, I want to say, John Harbaugh of Baltimore. He's had a stellar offense, but so far they just cannot get it done in the playoffs. This past season, they lost in the divisional after beating their rivals in the wild card round. You talk about the year before, they went to the AFC Championship game and they lost to the Chiefs. So they haven't really been able to get to that bigger leap. And I think John Harbaugh will probably be under a lot of pressure this year in Baltimore. He's one of the longest tenured coaches. You look at coaches that have coached so far. John Harbaugh's been there over 10 years. Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, and he's got a great streak going on. He's had 18 or 17 years that he's never finished with a losing record. And then you have Andy Reid, who's coached there for a long time. He's already won 2 Super Bowls. He's done more than he did in Philly. So, I mean, agree or disagree, is John Harbaugh on the hot seat this coming season in Baltimore?
Yeah, I could see it, but do you think so DeAndre Hopkins signed with the Ravens yesterday? You think that would help him a little bit, or you think DeAndre Hopkins, his years are coming to an end? But I do agree with I believe both Harbaughs are pressured this season.
Speaking of the Chargers, they brought in a familiar face, former Steelers receiver Mike Williams. He announced tonight that he signed a 1-year deal with the Los Angeles Chargers. This is being reported by ESPN's Chris Rim, confirming a report by Fox Sports. So he's 30 years old. He's played with the Chargers before when they were in San Diego, before moving to LA. Actually, I take that back. He came with the team to LA. He's only had 2 seasons with 1,000 yards receivings. He left to go with the Jets, but they didn't really do nothing in New York. Then they shipped him out to Pittsburgh. Didn't do much there either. So, I mean, I guess this is a make or break year for him, after, being 30 years old and stuff. Wouldn't you agree on that?
Yeah, I agree. Just 1 year, and he has a history of injuries that's been affecting him the last couple of years. So I agree. It could be a 1 year, give it all or done.
We're also going to stay with the Chargers here as we're being notified on this one here. Former Chargers Joey Bosa is signing with the Buffalo Bills on a 1-year, $12.6 million deal per sources reported. I'm guessing it's Adam Schefter. He spent 9 seasons with the Chargers. Bosa gets a fresh start at just 29 years old. Also for the Chargers, they are signing the former Washington Commanders cornerback Benjamin St. Juste, who's trying to ramp up that defense. Also, Khalil Mack, who was a free agent, has signed an extension to stay with the LA Chargers. And also with the Buffalo Bills, here's a list of some of the players they have added recently. We mentioned they added Joey Bosa on a 1-year, $12.6 million contract. The ex-Chargers, Josh Palmer, 3 years, $36 million deal. And ex-Ram, Michael Hoek, 3 years, $21 million. How about the Bills signing some former LA players after releasing Von Miller, a veteran?
Yeah, if they're signing Josh Allen, it seems like the Bills are trying to up their additions on the offensive and defensive side, trying to get that group together, and hopefully they could finally beat Mahomes so they could make it past the conference.
But with the Bills, let's talk about the Bills real quick, though. Joey Bosa, Michael Hoyt. I mean, how good is this defense going to be now with those 2 additions, Sean?
As if they couldn't get any better. What else is there to say? I mean, we already know how strong Buffalo is, considering that, it's in recent history it's been Buffalo and Kansas City battling it out for that AFC, no matter who it could be. But can they get any better? All these guys that Buffalo and just these short little contracts for these free agents, that's just a piece of it. But the big one that was discussed on our last show was re-signing and basically securing Josh Allen as your franchise quarterback. I don't know why they haven't given him a franchise tag if they haven't done so already, but signing him to another 6-year deal. Buffalo does not want to give up on Josh Allen. They know he's too good to give up, so they want him to stay in Buffalo, and pretty sure that's where he's going to be. I don't see Josh Allen going anywhere besides the Buffalo Bills. So with Josh Allen at the helm, Sean McDermott behind the headset, all these little bits and pieces of piecing together more contracts and bringing in these more experienced guys, it just adds to the fire that Buffalo is a team that you don't want to mess with.
And Jesus, what do you agree or disagree with that statement about the Bills? I mean, they have gone better in recent years.
Yeah, I agree, and they're going to continue to get better. I think they're stacked for this NFL draft coming up. They have a lot of picks, especially they got 3 more coming in from today's trade They added another CB to their team. You there, partner?
Yeah, we went silent for a second.
Yeah, I was having some audio issues here. I apologize. So let me see if I'll rephrase that again. So we talked about the Bills. 1999 was the last time they made the playoffs. They went through a 17-year span without being in the postseason until 2017. And then you look at the records since 2015. They have won over 100 games. In the last 7 years, this team's been to the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years, including an AFC championship berth and 2020. Actually, it's 2022, I'm sorry. And then their defense. You look at what they have right now with Greg Rosaru, Joey Bosa, AJ Ebnisa, Michael Howitt, and Javon Solomon. And then the draft picks that they have, they're going 30th in the first. They got 2 second-round picks. They also got 2 fourth-round picks, 3 fifth-round picks, and 2 sixth-round picks. So I guess it's safe to say that the sky is high in Buffalo because, as many people have said over the course of the years, no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I used to watch Chris Berman on ESPN primetime. He used to say that all the time, and it's just I never understood what it meant, but now it does. You know, they keep circling that wagon and they keep making changes. So I think this will be the year that they will dethrone Kansas City in that AFC. This is the one team I want to watch out for, and this team should be favored to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Couldn't have said it any better, partner. Got that right.
And
Yeah, I
Sean,
think
you agree, disagree?
Like I said when we first talked about when we just brought up Buffalo, can they get any better? Sure. Do they need to get any better? No, they're already good as they are. Is this the year that we finally see Buffalo get back to where they deserve to be, and that's on top? And Buffalo, we see them in Super Bowl 60 in 10 months? We'll find out. But ever since bringing Josh Allen in, since 2017, there hasn't been a single year since 2017 that they have not missed the playoffs, or that they have missed the playoffs. They've been there every single year. Same thing with Kansas City. It's always been Kansas City and Buffalo. 9 times out of 10, it's been Kansas City and Buffalo, minus the 2021 season where we had Kansas City and Cincinnati, but that's because Buffalo was having an off year that year. But ever since then, since 2017, it has been Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in a battle for the AFC. And I think this could be, we could see Buffalo prove to be the top team in the NFL this year.
Yeah, indeed so, gentlemen. I do agree with you on that. And on another note, the last time the Bills missed the playoffs was the 2018 season. That was when they finished 6-10. They've made the playoffs since then, and they're basically the kings of the AFC East. Since
Thank you for correcting me. That I wasn't sure of. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, our stat guy actually handed that to me. 2018 was the last time they missed the playoffs at 6-10. Since 2020, they've won the AFC East, I believe, 4 times. The other team that won it was the Patriots, and I believe the Dolphins, I want to say, were in there. They won the AFC East as well, but it's been basically those two teams, Miami and Buffalo, since 2020. The Jets on a rebuilding course, and the Patriots just trying to find identity in the post-Bill Belichick era. So it's very interesting to see what happens there. So far, we got some rumors here regarding the Cooper Cup. Partner, you want to fill us in on that?
No, just a lot of rumors coming in that a lot of the Patriots have a strong interest in Cooper Cup, but as he just got released earlier, you never know what's ahead of this week. We could see something brewing.
You mentioned on your report that the Patriots might have a strong interest in Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I mentioned the New England Patriots, and they have the money to pay him, so I could see that happening.
Well, I mean, Bill Belichick is not there no more. I mean, they've had a dismal, year or 2 years, and since then, nothing's happened. So we'll just have to wait to see what happens in New England. As we come to the end of this programming, I know there was a lot of information that was thrown out there, so just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Gentlemen, any final thoughts about tonight's programming and your thought on this free agency period so far? I know you mentioned that it's crazy, but how crazier can it get?
I feel like it's gonna get even better. I'm just excited for the draft day coming up as well in the next couple of months, and just it's been hectic the first couple of days of the trade rumors. Hope to explore and make more episodes as more news break out each and every day.
Sean, you have any final thoughts?
I think we've kind of summed it all up. We've talked about everything that's going on. You've got the provisional draft coming up. There's a lot of young talent in that NCAA ranking that we're going to see them. We're going to see their names get thrown around. And if I had to project, a name that could go as who's got the number one pick this year? Who has the first overall?
I believe it's the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's the Giants, God, what could they do? What do the Giants even need? I mean, they could use a quarterback. They could use some receivers. They've got Malik Neighbors, but they need someone else. But if I had to go with somebody who's going to be that first overall pick this year, on a receiving core, you've got Cam Skattebo from Arizona.
Great running
back. Who's the kid that just won the Heisman?
Austin Jeanty.
Yeah, there's Ashton Jeanty.
Travis Hunter.
Oh yeah, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty,
Cam Ward.
Yeah, there's so many NCAA names that are being thrown out there that we will most likely see get picked up this year. And first overall pick, it's always up in the air depending on what team it is and what that team needs. This year it's the Giants. We'll see what the Giants need and where they go. Other than that, everything we've covered tonight has been right on point, and there's going to be more to come, and we'll have much more to talk about as the days progress and we see more moves being made. But until that point, we just have everything that's going on so far, and it's been it has been, ever since Monday, it has been a crazy couple of days since the free agency market has opened up and the trade market has opened up in this offseason. And we're not done yet, boys. We got 4 more months of this to be looking for, plus the draft. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have some fun with this.
Indeed, gentlemen, I can't wait to take this ride along with you as we kick off our 5th season here, or 4th season here of Sports Talk. Can't wait for that as well. Just a program reminder, tomorrow the Lakers will take on the Milwaukee Bucks at 4:30. Of course, we'll be on after the game for our post-game wrap-up, and then we'll bring you the baseball season preview show coming up later this month as we preview both the Dodgers as they try to go for a repeat and the Angels if they can make the playoffs. Just want to, gentlemen,
I'm looking forward to the Angels this year. I can tell you that. I think. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, but there may be a chance. Maybe anything's possible.
I like to see if we can fill the seats. And I just got a job recently with the Angels. I'll be working like a parking cashier. So I mean,
Did you really?
Yes. Yeah, I got the job a couple of weeks ago. I start next month, so
nice.
Kind of looking forward to that.
I was just there earlier this evening because I was going through my security orientation for the season as my part-time job working security out there. So maybe we'll run into each other. They're starting to make the changes around the stadium, including putting up the player banners on the front end. So far, we've got 3 confirmed player banners of the 6 possible. Of course, you're going to have Mike Trout up there. That was a given.
Yeah, that's a must.
The other 2, as of right now, are Yusei Kikuchi and Logan O'Hoppe. Those are your other 2 joining Mike Trout on the home plate gate banners. And you've got 3 more spots to fill. There's a lot of big names on the team that could get those banners. I personally think we could see Jorge Soler up there, possibly Ben Joyce, maybe Kenley Jansen. But then you've got the street banners down Catella and Orangewood, the street banners on the street lights. Those are going up too. They're starting to the city of Anaheim is starting to move from Anaheim Ducks to the Los Angeles Angels, and that's what we see happen every single year.
Disappointing night last night by the Ducks. I actually watched the game, and I thought they were going to win. They tied it up, but they just couldn't finish. I mean, the score doesn't look close, but that game was very close the whole game. I'll say that.
I was watching that, and they managed to prevent Alex Ovechkin from adding any total to, but. It's very close. Is it going to happen for him by the end of this season? I think so. He needs 8 to tie and 9 to take the lead over Wayne Gretzky, the great one, for all-time goals scored in a career. They play one more game out here in Southern California tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Kings. Obviously, no NHL player can score freaking 9 goals in a single night. That's just not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, you got.
But will it happen for Alex Ovechkin by the end of this season? There's still about a month and a half left in the season. I think so.
Yeah, I start my orientations in 2 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to have to learn too. So we'll see you out there because I don't know what station I'll be at, but we'll see how that things go. But can't wait for that. And don't worry, folks. We're still going to provide shows for you. Even though we're going to have some more jobs for substitute. I know my office is across the street from Angel Stadium, so I'll be going in there a couple times a week. So we'll just see how that goes. But in any event, we'll try to do some post-game Angel shows, see if we can do that. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that at the stadium since I work for them, but we'll see how that goes. But again, just want to thank everyone for joining us
from your car.
Yeah, that too. We're on the way home.
We could both be doing it from our cars because I'm trying to be there every game. So it'll be we'll both be on site. So we'll have the on site.
I'm working the home games too. So
you got 81 home games. I've got 81 home games. So that'll be fun.
It depends. Yeah, they told me I'll be working at least 80% of the season. So I mean, I'll see how that goes. But you know what? A job's a job. I can't wait for it.
That's what the security side of things is too, is if you want to work the full season and have that spot working on a crew, what they call Angels crew for security.
Yeah.
You got to commit to at least 80% of the games, which means you really theoretically can only miss about 8 to 10 of the 81 games. But I'm prepared to do that. I'm prepared to make that commitment. So I'm sure we're going to run. We're definitely, there's no way we won't run into each other if you're out in the parking lot because I have to park every day. You have to park every day.
Well,
and
actually,
we'll probably see each other backstage.
The thing is, I don't have to park. I just have to charge the entry. So I'll be doing something.
Well, I'm talking about when we get there.
Yeah.
But then you're at the parking gates. Or
Yeah.
you're in the middle of the street directing them which way to go.
But they're very flexible though, so they're like, you put down what days are available and we'll go from there. So, can't wait to see
There you
that.
go.
But partner, it's been nice tonight. Again, I want to thank everyone. We want to thank everyone for joining us on this special night. Thank you to everyone for helping us reach over 1,000 downloads. And partner, you can go and wrap up the famous words we say every night.
Another day, another podcast.
And Jesus, Sean, thanks for joining us, my brother. I'll see you later on. And Jesus, I'll see you tomorrow night for our Laker postgame show.
Yes, sir, partner.
Has been fun once again. Glad to be back. Can't wait to do more.
Can't wait. We'll bring you back on, Sean, for our NFL free agencies again. Stay tuned with us, and we'll provide you the latest updates. Again, we'll be up tomorrow after the Lakers game and see how they'll do. And for Sean Quinn, my partner Jesus, I'm Ed. Thanks for joining us here on Sports Talk. You guys have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.